All right, once again, you are all welcome to CJC Market Daily Analysis. My name is Jeff Tamade. I'm reporting live CJC Market Daily. So today, you're once again welcome to our daily analysis. Today is February 10th, Thursday, 2022. So today we're going to rush in down to our fundamental analysis and see what the market has for us for today. So the first thing we're going to look at is by 12 a.m. this morning, we had a news based on the PPI, which is by 12 a.m. this morning, based on the Japanese yen, talking about the production price index. So the reason why this production price is relevant is because it discusses the change of the price of goods sold by the corporation. So like we said, low impact news are not always low impact news. So that is why we need to give attention to this particular news. So by 1 a.m. this morning, we were able to, 1 a.m. this morning, we were able to witness the British pounds. A very low impact news came out on the British pounds, which is talking about the leading indication of the housing inflation of the GBP here. So looking at this particular news now is giving us an insight of what you are about to expect based on the data percentage survey report that price might increase and it might go above the indication that is being expected. Now, if the actual is greater than the forecast, it is likely to say that it is good for GBP. So that is why we have to give attention to low impact news. We have another one at 1:03 a.m. this morning. It has to do with the AUD, talking about the inflation expectation. If the actual is greater than the forecast, that is to say it is good for the currency. Now, by 10:05, we'll be expecting a very high impact news. Now, last week we discussed and we heard about what the Bank of England president talked about, the speech he gave, which is Anthony. He gave a speech regarding the US labor, reviewing the consumer price interest rates of the German economy, the France economy, and the markets in general. But now he's coming out to give another speech by 10:05 a.m. this morning on GBP. Now, the reason why we want to give our undivided attention to this particular fundamental news is because number one indication is that the governor of England is the head of the central bank. So as the head of the central bank or the chairman of the central bank, he has more control on both on the short interest rate that has to influence the nation currency value. That is to say that him as a personnel, as a high impact personnel, he has an influence over the nation currency than any other person. So in this case, traders need to utilize the Bank of England's chairman public engagement as he drops some clues regarding future monetary policy. So that is why we need to give our utmost attention to this particular news that is coming up by 10:05 a.m. this morning. So we should be careful when market gets to 10:05. Remember, we taught on our online class 2 days ago, we taught on how we can actually interpret our fundamental analysis for those of us who joined us last week. So it shouldn't be an issue for you on how to trade the fundamental analysis, because this builds your trading decision and see how you can make more smart decision in order to provide liquidity and make profit from the market. So by 11 a.m. this morning, we're going to look at Euro, talking about the economic forecast. Now, the reason why we need to give attention to this news, because it's a medium impact news, is because this is based on the European Commission, the evaluation of price performance. So we should be careful on this particular news, because definitely to move the market. The reason why it will move the market is because it is based on the economic performance. So that is why we need to give attention to this particular news. And take note, it's an hawkish statement. So it's a decision that is going to be made after the discussion is being over. Now, another one for USD dollar. By 2:30 p.m. today, we're going to see how we can dissect such information looking at the consumer price index, the CPI. Now, this particular news is a very high impact news, and we need to give attention because it involves about the consumer price index, which has to do with the change of price of goods and services purchased by the customers. So if the actual is greater than the forecast on this particular news found at consumer price index, that is to say, it is good for the particular currency. So then that same 2:30 p.m. this morning, this afternoon, sorry, we'll be looking at the USD dollar, talking about the consumer price index. If the actual is greater than the forecast, then it's to say it is good for that particular currency. 2:30 p.m. this afternoon, we're going to look at a medium impact news discussing about the jobless claims in the USD dollar. Now, the reason why we need to give attention to this particular USD dollar is because today USD dollar is gonna be our celebrity pair for today, because they are really looking at how they can look at the consumer price index, see how they can increase or decrease interest rates, and look at how the consumers are responding to the production price index, and see what the investors are really putting, where they are really investing their money into. So that is why it led to discuss the jobless claims about the US economy. So if the actual is lesser than the forecast, that is to say it is good for the currency, which is the USD dollar. Now, there will be an alternative news by USD dollar, if it will hold. It's a very low impact news. It's discussion of both the montage and looking at how they can discuss, and this has to do as a result of the unemployment rate of the montage using the consumer price index. Now, there will be a discussion. There will be a discussion around 2:30. It's an alternative discussion, a meeting that will possibly hold or not. Now, this has to do with the percentage of the MBA representatives. So they are going to have a discussion around 2:30. Now, if the actual is lesser than the forecast, that is to say that it is good for the USD dollar. So You should take note of that because it has to do with the Mortgage Bank Association. So it's a very, very important news. Remember, low important news, low impact news, and medium impact news are not always the way we see it. So let's go. By 4:30 p.m. this morning, we'll be looking at the USD. 4:30 p.m. this evening, we'll be looking about the USD dollar, which is talking about the natural gas storage. So gas is under, for those of us who don't know where gas falls under energy. Gas falls under energy. So they'll be looking about the change in number of the cubic feet of natural gas filled and underground storage during the past week. That is what they are going to look at about the natural gas storage, also known as the nat gas inventory. So by 7:01 p.m. this evening, by 7:01 p.m. this evening about the USD dollar, we'll be talking about the bond audition. Bond audition has to do with the treasury audition. Now, the reason why we need to give attention to this bond audition, which is also known as the treasury audition, is because it has to do with the bond market investors, which can be used to decipher the investors' outlook based on the future interest rate. Now, sometimes this news possibly will move in a funny way, but we have to be smart when looking at this particular news at 7:01 p.m. this evening. Now, because they are going to discuss the first number of the highest interest rate of the bond which is being sold out, and they are going to look at the second number, which is to bid over the ratio that is accepted by the buyers. So some reviewment will be taking place based on the Treasury Audition Committee. So that is why we need to give attention to this particular news. So let's move. We are moving on to 8:30 p.m. today by the US dollar. We'll be looking at the Federation budget balance. By 10:30 p.m. this morning, we'll be looking about the NZD. That is to say, we are going to discuss about the business manufacturing index, looking about how they can decrease or increase price interest rates based on the money issued out by the Federal Reserve policy given by the industry, which is doing the manufacturers. So they are going to discuss and view how they can increase or decrease the interest rates being given to them. So by 11:30 p.m., we're going to see a high impact news based on the AUD. Now, this high impact news will be very, 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 very volatile for us in the market today, because this has to do with the Reserve Bank of Australia. Of course, it's an upbeat statement, which is expected to be good for the currency. So the reason why we need to give our undivided attention to this particular news is because it has to do with the head of the central bank, which definitely controls the short-term interest rates. So as the president of the central bank, which is in giving a speech, the market tends to be volatile because it has more influence over the nation's currency than any other person. So that is why the market will be very, very volatile. So we need to give our utmost attention because traders are considered to be smart. So that is why on a speech like this, because it has to do with the Reserve Bank of Australia. Trader needs to utilize and scrutinize this particular information because it is a public engagement which the chairman of the Reserve Bank of Australia is going to give a clue regarding the future monetary policy. So that is why traders need to utilize this particular information. So we need to give our undivided attention by 11:30 p.m. today as the governor of the Reserve Bank of Australia give his speech. So I believe that is what we have for today. Remember, today is February 10th, 2022, and my name is Jeff Tamade. I'm reporting live from CJC Markets. Please keep on joining us on our daily analysis as we analyze and interpret and dissect information in order to provide liquidity and make profit for the global financial market. So join us tomorrow 8:30, how we break down information and give you what you really need in the global financial market. So for today, let's quickly brush down to our technical analysis. Let's brush down to our technical analysis. If you have any question, please do well to drop it at the comment section. Do well to drop it at the comment section. If you go to your economic calendar, and be it any calendar you are making use of, but for now we are making use of .com. There we are sure that you'll be able to get reliable information and news based on your fundamental analysis. Thereby you'll be able to dissect this information and read them. So if the actual is greater than the forecast, that is to say it is for a particular currency. If depending on the kind of news you are trading. So already, okay, you will join us. If someone said, is there a website where we can log in for the following news? I said, yes, you can log in for the following news of www.forexfactory.com. For those of us who are not familiarized with the fundamental analysis, please do well to join our classes based on our fundamental analysis, talking about how we can break down information and interpret information to know where the market will likely move us to. So you join us on our fundamental classes. For those of us who are just joining us, you can contact any of our representatives in CJC Market, be it your account officer or any other staff or IBs you can find within CJC Markets. So they'll link you up on how we can join our fundamental analysis class. So without wasting much of our time, let's quickly move on to our technical analysis. Our technical analysis. So let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Okay. Okay. If you can see my screen, please type yes to the comment section. If you can see my screen, type yes to the comment section so that I will be sure that you are following up. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Rizon. Okay. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Faith. Okay, thank you, Romeo. So this is our technical analysis on GBP USD using our daily time frame. If you have noticed so far on the way we handle our technical analysis, we are not just giving you what the market holds for that particular day, but we are giving you what the market holds at the future references more than the daily analysis. Now, the last month, we are able to map out our ranging zone, which is refers to our reversal zone. Now, we're able to map out some strategic plan on where we will possibly get a reversal zone. Example of them is here. This is where we mapped out our reversal zone, our very sensitive zone last month. So, like we said, mapping out your zone might not be of usefulness at that particular moment, but trust me, sooner or later, you'll be able to know that it is very, very useful in the future more than when you mapped it out. So, last month, we were able to map out our sensitive zone, which as a result that it was respected at this particular point in price. Market sold down and respected our resistance line. Now, mapping out this your support and resistance zone, which is also called your supply and demand zone, is very, very important because it makes your analysis more reasonable. It makes your analysis more straight to the point and easier to analyze. Resistance zone here because we mapped it out. And we said during that period when price was here that two things are involved. Either market gets to this particular point in price, and break this particular resistance and head to this particular resistance zone, or it will resist the sellers and serve as a support to the buyers. And if the buyers is in control of the market, price will get to this particular point in price and resist. And we mapped out this our resistance line before now. So that is to tell you that mapping out your supply and demand zone is very, very important when it comes to analysis. Like we discussed in our classes, for you to be able to interpret information or dissect information on your technical analysis, first of all, you need to identify your trend. After identifying your trend, you need to map out your supply. Now, after mapping your supply and demand, to make sure that when you are mapping out your supply and demand, make sure you map out your sensitive ranges, which is what we did here. A possible reversal point, then you give attention to details, which is looking at your candlestick pattern. So if there is a hammer candle, you know what the market is trying to do. All right. Sorry about that. Network issues. But we'll still pick off. Okay. So, like I was saying, after identifying your trend, you map out your supply and demand zone. After mapping out your supply and demand zone, you have to be sensitive to your possible reversal points. So that is why we are mapping out our sensitive reversal point, because definitely it will not be always useful, that initial point, but it gives you an insight where there will possibly be a reversal in the current trend. So looking at GBP USD for today, what does the market is doing? The bias movement for GBP USD for today is neutral. It's neutral. The market is actually on a consolidation zone. Let me show you. The market is currently now on a consolidation zone. The market is consolidating. Look at this. Look at this. Because of this, we are telling you what is causing the consolidation now. Look at this. Look at this price rejection. And here, that is what is affecting the market. So on technical analysis, always look at what your market has done previously, because the previous charts will give you likely where there will be a reversal point, where you should map out your supply and demand zone. So as a smart trader at this particular point, you should do nothing. You should definitely do nothing. So like we say, the higher time frame gives you the market in overview, then the lower time frame gives you the market in details. So let's quickly rush down to our lower time frame to see if we have a trading opportunity there. Okay, Wisdom, you want to ask a question? Okay, go ahead and ask a question. Hello, Wisdom. Hello, Wisdom. Okay, when you are ready, you let me know. Okay. So this is our 4 hours time frame on GBP USD. It's a very sensitive one for us. Okay, the market is on a consolidation zone, which is currently now it is buying. It is buying currently now on 4 hours time frame. Now, there's what we call liquidity void, which is about to occur here. The market created a void here, a straight up candle without interruption from the buyers. It is called a void. So likely the market the market will likely want to fill this void and get to this point. Price rejection might take place. But at this particular juncture, we are expected to do nothing. The reason why I'm explaining this particular void here is for the future references. So if price move upward, or if it's going to clear up stops up here, then two things are involved. Like I said, Either the market is consolidating at this particular point in price, market might face a rejection on the buyers and sell down to test this low to clear up stops. So this is what we are looking at for on our daily time, 4 hours time frame based on the GBP USD. So let's go to another pair. Let's go to gold. Let's see what gold. Most of our traders these days are trading gold. Gold. Oh, like I said, the first step you need to take when analyzing your technical analysis is by identifying your trend. Identifying your trend. This is a bearish movement. Then the second step we need to take when analyzing our technical analysis is by looking at our supply and demand zone. This is our supply and demand zone. Let's quickly map it out. This is our supply and demand zone. Let's quickly map it out. Supply and demand zone. Okay, see here. Okay. Up here. Okay. So the next step we need to take after mapping out our support and resistance zone, the next step we need to look out for is mapping out our sensitive reversal points. That is to give you an insight where there was an impulse price change. So let's map out where there was an impulse price change that is being more sensitive to our demand and supply zone. That is where we can find out our reversal points. So this is another our possible reversal. So this is where the market reversed. Okay, let's map it out. This is another sensitive zone. A sensitive zone where price will definitely get to reverse. Okay, this is another zone. Then let's quickly map out another one where there will likely be a reversal. So to be more sensitive to our technical analysis, I believe this is another reversal point here. Here will be another reversal point. Okay, so looking at our chart now, this is to tell you that our chart, our trading chart now is defined. Market is currently on a trend, which is the bearish trend. The bias movement is bearish. The market now is on a resistance zone here, because of here. As a result, price rejected here and sold down and gets to this reversal point. Impulse price movement change. Changes the prices, get to this resistance zone, consolidate a little bit, but the resistance zone is not much. So that is why the bias was break and test this high. Let an impulse price change from the buyers to the sellers. That was what led the selling that broke this resistance zone, which is here is supposed to serve as the resistance zone to the sellers, and serve as support to the buyers. But it broke the resistance zone, sold downward, and gets to this reversal point where we have already mapped out before now, and reversal took place here, and the market is currently buying. So because the market was able to consolidate at this particular zone, consolidate here and here, and the market now is currently buying. That is to tell you that the market will definitely slow down at this particular point. So like I said, when market is approaching a resistance zone, it is likely to slow down. So that is why market is slowing down. But looking at the nature of the candlestick formation, it is telling you that the market, the buyers has the market. The market is currently buying right now. So if it is able to cross this particular resistance zone, because the resistance zone is not strong enough, it's heading up to this high to clear stops. Now, getting up to this high, remember, we have already mapped out our impulse price movement change, where there is an impulse price movement change previously. We have already mapped it out. So likely there will be a possible reversal. Two things are involved. Either the market will break this reversal point and head to the second reversal point, who will lead price to sell down here and continue its movement, or it will continue its movement downward, creating a new high. Since it's a downtrend, it is considered to create probably a lower highs and lower lows. So let's go to a lower time frame and see how we can execute the market on gold. So let's go to 4 hours time frame. 4 hours time frame. Wow, this is the bias movement for gold. Let me zoom out. This is the bias movement for gold. Bearish movement for gold. So, like I said, the market is on a resistance zone. Like I said, the higher time frame gives you the overview of the market. Meanwhile, the lower time frame gives you the market in details. Now we have gotten the detail of the market. On the higher time frame, it's just one bullish candle. Now on a lower time frame, before now, we are able to identify that the market is on the resistance zone on a higher time frame, bit on the daily time frame. Now we have moved down, stepped down to our 4 hours time frame. Looking at the 4 hours time frame, the market is currently consolidating. The market is currently consolidating. So as a smart trader, when market is consolidating, it is expected on your part to definitely do nothing. The reason why I'm mapping out this particular point here, this particular highs, because there was an impulse rejection from the buyers, from the sellers. The market wants to break this particular resistance zone here. There was a rejection. Price tried again, the buyers tried again, there was a rejection. They tried again at this particular point in price, there was a rejection, which led to this consolidation here, which is actually influencing this particular market building order, which is currently here. So two things are involved. Either the market breaks this particular consolidation, but looking at the price movement, the buyers has the market. But if there will be an impulse price change, the market will definitely reverse at this particular point in price and head down to here, which will definitely do the same thing and see how they can move price up. Try again. If possibly they break it, they'll be heading down to a new high. But if price is not able to break that particular resistance zone, price will sell down here and get to here and continue its price movement, which is giving us a new high, a lower lows, and a lower high. So someone said, please, what time frame do you trade on? Everything in the trading industry, everything is about decision making. Look at the time frame you are best understood on, then you analyze the market and see how you can provide liquidity there. Like personally, for me, I trade it 1 hour time frame. I use daily time frame to see the overview of the market, go to 4 hours time frame and see what the market is talking about. Then I place a trade on 1 hour time frame. That is what works for me. I don't know about you. 4 hours might be working better for you than me. So look at what you best understood more, where you best get facts based on your analysis, then you work on that time frame. So let's go on. If price is able to break this resistance zone, that is heading to clear up stops here and get to the reversal point. So there will likely be a reversal point if price is able to break this resistance zone and it will get to this particular high and get down here, probably get here and sell down to this resistance zone. So market, if it continues its downtrend, market is going to give us a lower lows and lower highs if it will continue its downward movement. So let's quickly move to Euro USD. Euro USD. Euro USD. Let's see what our market has for us for today. Euro USD. Okay, Euro USD. Wow. Let's switch over to our daily time frame. Wow. Like I said, I believe that if you are able to map out these steps on how to identify your trend, how to identify or analyze your technical analysis, definitely once you open a trading chart, you'll be able to see what the market holds for us. Now, yesterday, we said the market is going to get to a resistance zone, which is here. We're able to map that our resistance zone here. So price is able to, now price is playing out to according to what we analyzed. Now, like I said, first of all, identify your trend. The bias movement for Euro USD is what? Bearish. It's a bearish movement. So we are able to identify that our trend. Now let's quickly map out our support and resistance zone. This is a resistance zone. This is another resistance zone. It will likely be a reversal point. Okay, sometimes the market does not give you exactly what you want. This is another resistance. In fact, this is a range. This is more than a resistance zone. This is a range. Okay. We're going to map it out. Okay. Okay. I think this should be okay. Okay. So let's quickly map out our sensitive supply and demand zone, where there will likely be a reversal point, where there is a possible impulse price change. This is one. Okay, number one. Okay. This is number two. And we need to map it. This is a very sensitive zone. In fact, it's a very sensitive zone. We need to look at very sensitive zone. So the market currently now on Euro USD is on a consolidation zone. So as a trader, what you are expected to do on a consolidation zone, you are expected to do nothing. The market has already moved. Now, if yesterday, for those of us who joined our physical class, we were able to discuss candlestick pattern. Now, this particular candlestick is called a triple candlestick pattern, giving you an insight that the bias has the market. The bias is on a strong impulse price change on the opposite market direction. Now, the market sold. Let me bring up my instrument. The market sold because of the resistance here. The market was able to change direction, which led the market went bearish, impulse price change, indecisiveness. Now, the reason why we are saying that this market will likely go up, this is a doji candle. Indecisiveness, but it's a bullish doji candle. That is to tell you that the buyers might likely take over the market, which led to this impulse price change. So that is why we are mapping it out, because it's a very, very sensitive zone where there will likely be a reversal point. Now, due to that impulse price movement, it was able to break this resistance zone, this consolidation zone. It was able to break it was an impulse price move. For those of us who okay, can you hear me now? If you can hear me, type 111 in the comment section. Okay, now thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Wisdom. Thank you, everyone. Okay, that was it. So, I was explaining that the market created a fair to fair value transaction. There's what we call fair to fair market value transaction. This is talking about the agreement between the buyers and the sellers on a particular fair transaction. Now, in the sense that the buyers allow the sellers to move price to some extent, and the sellers will also allow the buyers to take over the market and move price to that same point in price the sellers open their price. This is what is called fair-to-fair market transaction. Let me show you. This is it. The sellers allowed the buyers to sell down here. Impulse price movement, indecision. This is how we identify fair-to-fair transaction. Indecision in the forex market, the doji candle will be a bullish one, which led to this impulse price movement. Price gets to this particular information. This is called the triangular formation. So hope that is clear. So at this particular point, price is currently consolidating because it has gotten to its resistance level where there will possibly be a reversal. So you consider price unstable for today on the daily time frame. But let's quickly go to our 4 hours time frame and see what we can find. Okay, let's go to our 4 hours time frame. Wow. Let's go to 4 hours. At the market. At the market. The market is currently consolidating, but is on a bearish consolidation. Now, at this particular point in price, the market is on a ranging zone, going up and down, up and they're trying to build order. So at this particular point, you'll be seeing so many candlestick chart pattern, but it is expected for you as a smart trader to opt to do nothing until the market gives a clear indication based on our candlestick formation that it has passed or crossed a resistance zone or a support zone. So if price is able to, because this consolidation now is going on a bearish direction, if the sellers is able to take over this market, price will definitely sell down, which is get to this zone. Remember, we have a zone consolidation zone here, a very tight one. So if it's able to break this particular zone, then the market is heading to clear up stops here. So there will likely be a reversal point if markets sell down here, and definitely to give a support to the buyers a little bit that will break down here, in which there will likely be a reversal point because we have previously an impulse price change at this particular point in price. So that is what defines our reversal movement. But if price is not able, if price was able to break this resistance zone, maybe move bullish, that is to say, price will give us a new high. Price will give us a new high. So that is what we are looking at for on Euro USD. Euro USD. So don't forget, this information is brought by you by CJC Market, whereby we are going to discuss and dissect, look at information based on our fundamental analysis using our economic calendar. So always join us every day, 8:30 every morning, to see how we can dissect those information and interpret them professional standard and see how we can make profits from each of the currency pair we are going to analyze. So don't forget, my name is Jeff Tamadi. It's brought by you by CJC Market. So Wisdom, I'm dropping my number. Yes, I'm dropping my number on the comment section. Please contact me. Yesterday, your account officer contacted me. This is my WhatsApp number. Text me on WhatsApp so that I can transfer to you your price you won yesterday. And if you preferably USDT, and transfer it to USDT. So thank you very much for joining us today on our daily analysis. Remember, every Monday we hold our weekly analysis by 11 a.m. every Monday. From Tuesday to Friday, we hold our daily analysis, which is by 8:30 every morning. Don't forget, this is brought by you by CJC.